In the past year, we've witnessed AI compose symphonies, design life-saving drugs, and even act as a tireless software engineer working 24/7. These aren't just flashy tech demos. They are tremors signaling a seismic shift in how we exist. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this revolution. We'll explore the 10 most critical AI breakthroughs set to completely reshape your world by 2030. This isn't just a list. It's a journey. By the end, you won't just see the future. You'll understand the invisible forces already at play, and you'll be equipped to navigate the incredible, complex world that's emerging. So, buckle up. The future is closer than you think. Let's dive in. 1. AI agents. Let's start with a scene you know all too well. It's Monday morning. Your phone buzzes with an onslaught of notifications. Your email inbox is a war zone of unread messages, some urgent, some junk. Your calendar is a chaotic mess of overlapping meetings, and that project deadline is breathing down your neck. The mental weight of just organizing your day is exhausting before you've even started the actual work. Now, imagine this. You pick up your phone and say, "Hey, handle my week." You don't give it a list of commands. You just state your intent. And then you watch. And an AI agent, your personal digital chief of staff, springs into action. It scans your 200 unread emails, summarizes the 5 that actually need your attention, and drafts replies for the rest. It cross-references your project timeline with your team's calendars, finds a 30-minute slot that works for everyone, and schedules the critical sync meeting. It sees you have a flight to catch on Friday and preemptively checks for delays. This isn't just an assistant following orders. It's an autonomous entity that understands your goals, plans multiple steps ahead, and executes complex tasks independently. This is the power of agentic AI. In 2024, we saw the first glimpses of this with tools like AutoGPT, which could take a single goal like research the top 5 electric vehicles and then autonomously browse the web, open new tabs, read reviews, and compile a detailed report. But the real game changer arrived in March 2024 with Devin from Cognition Labs. Devin isn't just an assistant. It's an autonomous software engineer. Given a task, it can write its own code, test it, find and fix bugs, and deploy a finished app to the web. It's the equivalent of hiring a junior developer who never sleeps, never complains, and learns at an exponential rate. Google is weaving the same agentic DNA into its ecosystem. Imagine your Google Assistant not just telling you the weather, but saying, "Hey, I noticed it's going to rain during your planned run tomorrow. I found a 2-hour break in the storm in the afternoon and tentatively moved your run on your calendar. Should I confirm?" This is an eye moving from a reactive tool to a proactive partner. So, how does this tangibly change your life? It's about offloading your cognitive load. Think of all the mental energy you spend on logistics, planning, and repetitive digital chores. Agentic AI promises to absorb that burden, freeing you up to focus on the things that truly require human intelligence: strategic thinking, deep creative work, emotional connection, and simply being present. For a small business owner, it's like having a marketing, finance, and administrative team all in one. For a student, it's a research assistant that can gather and summarize sources for a term paper. But this new power brings profound questions. How much autonomy are you truly comfortable with? An agent booking a flight is convenient, but what if it misunderstands your budget and books a non-refundable first-class ticket? What happens if it makes a mistake in a business report that you, trusting the AI, don't catch? We will have to learn a new skill: managing our AI agents, setting their boundaries, and auditing their work. They will become our powerful but fallible digital collaborators. 2. Micro-LLM is. Agentic AI is powerful, but it often relies on massive, power-hungry models in the cloud. What happens when you're offline? What about your privacy? Imagine you're a journalist on assignment in a remote region with no cell service. You just recorded a 2-hour interview. Instead of spending hours transcribing and summarizing it later, you tap a button on your phone. Instantly, a perfect transcript appears, along with a bullet point summary of the key quotes and themes. All of this happens on your device, without a single byte of data sent to the cloud. This is the magic of micro LLMs, or lightweight large language models. These are the smaller, hyper-efficient cousins of models like GPT-4. They are designed to run directly on your personal devices, your phone, your watch, your laptop, even your car. Google's Gemini Nano, introduced in 2023 on its Pixel phones, was a major step. It powered features like on-device summarization and smart replies, all while keeping your data completely private. Apple is famously moving in this direction, with rumors of its upcoming iOS updates focusing heavily on on-device AI that prioritizes user privacy and speed above all else. Why is this such a big deal? 3 reasons: privacy, speed, and accessibility. First, privacy. When the AI runs on your device, your personal data, your messages, your health stats, your private notes never has to leave your control. Second, speed. There's no lag from sending data to a server and waiting for a response. The answers are instantaneous. Finally, accessibility. This democratizes AI. A student in a rural community with spotty internet can have a powerful AI tutor on a cheap tablet. A farmer can use an app that analyzes crop health from a photo right in the middle of a field. Models like Meta's Llama 3 and the open source Mistral 7B are being optimized to run efficiently on low-power hardware. This is why market analyst firm IDC predicts that by 2025, a staggering 75% of enterprise data will be processed at the edge on local devices, not in a centralized cloud. For you, this means AI that feels more personal, more integrated, and more trustworthy. It won't drain your data plan or your battery. But there's a trade-off. A micro-LLM, by its nature, doesn't have the vast real-time knowledge of its cloud-based counterparts. It can't tell you the latest news or stock prices unless it's updated. There's also a risk of its knowledge being incomplete or subtly biased, with no cloud-based fact-checker to correct it. As these tiny brains proliferate, we'll need to understand their limitations, even as we enjoy their convenience. 3. Neuromorphic chips. So we have powerful AI agents and compact microbrains. But what if the very foundation of how our computers think could be revolutionized? For decades, our computers have worked like super-fast calculators, crunching ones and zeros. Our brains don't work like that. They work through a complex web of neurons, firing in electrical spikes, learning and adapting organically. Enter neuromorphic computing. This is a radical new type of hardware, chips that are architected to mimic the human brain. Instead of processing information sequentially, they process it in parallel, using spikes of energy, just like our neurons. The result? They are incredibly energy efficient and unbelievably good at processing real-time, messy, sensory data from the real world. In 2024, researchers at MIT demonstrated this beautifully. They equipped a robotic hand with a neuromorphic chip. The hand could not only grip objects, but could feel their texture and adjust its grip in real time if the object started to slip a task that would require massive computational power on a traditional chip. Big players like Intel, with its Loyi 2 chip and IBM's TrueNorth, are pushing this technology into the real world. Think about the implications. A search and rescue drone powered by a neuromorphic chip could navigate a smoke-filled, collapsing building. It wouldn't need a high-speed connection to the cloud. It would learn and adapt to the chaotic environment on the fly, just like a person would, but without the risk. Imagine a medical implant that continuously monitors your body and learns your unique biological patterns, capable of predicting a cardiac event minutes before it happens, all while running on a tiny, long-lasting battery. For your daily life, this means our technology will become smarter, more intuitive, and dramatically greener. Your future smart home won't just follow pre-programmed rules. It will learn the rhythm of your family's life, anticipating when to warm the house or dim the lights with brain-like efficiency, saving huge amounts of energy. But this breakthrough also pushes us into philosophical territory. As our machines start to think more like us, will they become too human-like? How do we control a device that learns and adapts in ways we didn't explicitly program? Neuromorphic computing isn't just a hardware upgrade. It's a fundamental shift in the nature of intelligence itself. 4. Synthetic media. If neuromorphic chips are given a new brain, then synthetic media is given it a face, a voice, and a paintbrush to create new realities. Imagine you have an idea for a short film. A lone astronaut discovering a glowing forest on a distant moon. A few years ago, you'd need a film crew, a budget, actors, and special effects artists. Today, you simply type that description into a prompt. Within minutes, OpenAI's Sora, which shocked the world in February 2024, generates a photorealistic, emotionally resonant video clip that looks like it was plucked from a Hollywood blockbuster. This is synthetic media AI-generated video, images, music, and voices. And it's exploding? Platforms like Runway and Pika Labs are putting the power of a movie studio into the hands of anyone with a laptop. Virtual influencers like Lil Miquela with millions of followers are entirely computer-generated. Gartner predicts that by 2026, a mind-boggling 80% of all creative content will be touched by generative AI in some way. The positive implications are staggering. A teacher can generate a custom animated video to explain a complex scientific concept. A startup can create a professional-looking commercial for a fraction of the cost. A musician can generate a unique backing track for a new song in any style they can imagine. It is the ultimate democratization of creativity. But this power comes with a dark side, a reality problem. In 2023, a fake AI-generated image of an explosion near the Pentagon went viral, causing the stock market to briefly dip. The rise of deepfakes threatens to erode our trust in what we see and hear. How can we believe a video of a politician saying something outrageous if it could be perfectly faked? In response, a new arms race has begun. Companies like Adobe are building content credentials, a kind of digital watermark that shows a file's origin and edit history. But the technology to create fakes is evolving faster than our ability to detect them. By 2030, this technology won't just be a creative tool. It will force us to develop a new level of critical thinking and media literacy. We will have to learn to question everything, to look for provenance, and to operate with a healthy dose of skepticism. Our sense of shared reality may depend on it. 5. AI in healthcare. For years, AI in medicine has been a helpful assistant organizing patient records or flagging potential drug interactions. Now, it's stepping into the role of a diagnostician, a researcher, and even a healer. What if AI could find cancer before a doctor could? It's already happening. Google's AI model for breast cancer screening, tested extensively in 2023, proved to be more accurate than human radiologists in identifying tumors from mammograms. The UK's National Health Service is now piloting this technology, not to replace doctors, but to act as a tireless second opinion, catching things a fatigued human eye might miss and easing their massive workload. The breakthroughs are everywhere. DeepMind's AlphaFold has mapped the structure of over 200 million proteins, a monumental task that has supercharged drug discovery for diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Google's medical chatbot, MedPalm 2, recently scored an 85% on the U.S. medical licensing exam, demonstrating its vast medical knowledge. Picture the real-world impact. A small, understaffed clinic in a developing nation receives a portable, AI-powered device. A nurse can use it to take a retinal scan, and the AI can instantly diagnose diabetic retinopathy, a leading cause of blindness, allowing for early intervention that saves a person's sight. Your own Apple Watch, powered by Apple's new health-focused LLMs, could one day move beyond just tracking your heart rate. It could analyze the subtle patterns in your vitals over months, and one day alert you your baseline heart rate variability has changed in a pattern consistent with early-stage cardiac stress. We recommend you schedule a checkup with your doctor. McKinsey estimates that an eye could slash global healthcare costs by $360 billion by 2030, making care more affordable and accessible. This means earlier diagnoses, personalized treatment plans based on your unique genetic makeup, and better health outcomes for everyone. But this is perhaps the most sensitive area of all. Can we, and should we, trust an algorithm with a life or death decision? How do we ensure that AI trained on historical data doesn't perpetuate existing biases in healthcare against certain demographics? The integration of AI into medicine will require a delicate balance of technological capability and profound human oversight, ensuring that the empathy and holistic judgment of a human doctor are always at the center of a patient's care. 6. AI in scientific discovery. Human scientific progress has always been a story of slow, painstaking work, forming a hypothesis, running experiments, analyzing data, and repeating the process over and over. What if you could compress a decade of that trial and error into a single week? AI is now acting as a force multiplier for science itself. In 2023, a DeepMind AI called GNOME Graph Networks for Materials Exploration did something extraordinary. It sifted through the vast landscape of possible atomic combinations and predicted the existence of 2.2 million new stable materials. To put that in perspective, that's equivalent to nearly 800 years of human knowledge production in this field. Of those, over 380,000 are believed to be stable enough to be created in a lab and could lead to next-generation batteries that charge in minutes, more efficient solar panels, or even superconductors that work at room temperature. This isn't limited to materials. NVIDIA's Earth-2 is an ambitious project to create a digital twin of our planet. This AI-powered simulation can model complex climate and weather systems with incredible speed and accuracy, helping us predict the path of hurricanes or the impact of climate policies with far greater precision. In the quest for clean energy, AI is being used to analyze the chaotic plasma in nuclear fusion experiments, optimizing them to bring us closer to the dream of limitless, clean power. For you, the consumer, this means the solutions to some of our biggest global challenges, climate change, disease, energy scarcity, could arrive much, much faster. The next revolutionary technology you buy might have been discovered not by a human in a lab coat, but by an AI in a data center. But it also raises a fascinating question about the nature of discovery. Will AI's brute force predictive power outpace the serendipitous, creative leaps that define human genius? Could an AI focus on finding stable materials have overlooked a bizarre, unstable one that held the key to a completely new field of physics? AI is reshaping the lab, but it's a partnership one where human intuition is still needed to ask the right questions and see the patterns the machine might miss. 7. AI-enhanced robotics. For decades, robots have been fixtures of science fiction, but in the real world, they've mostly been confined to repetitive tasks on factory assembly lines. AI is finally giving robots the brains they need to lead the cage and operate in the messy, unpredictable human world. The videos are almost surreal. Tesla's Optimus Gen 2, revealed in late 2023, can now walk with a more human-like gait and delicately handle an egg without breaking it. Figure Eight robots, now backed by Microsoft and OpenAI, are learning to perform complex logistics tasks in warehouses, watching humans and then mimicking their actions. And Boston Dynamics Spot, the famous robot dog, uses an AI-driven perception to navigate treacherous disaster zones, climbing over rubble to deliver aid or assess damage. This is the convergence of AI software with advanced hardware. These robots aren't just following a script. They are perceiving their environment, making decisions, and learning from their mistakes. Imagine the impact by 2030. A robotic caregiver could help an elderly person with mobility, fetch their medication, and provide companionship. A fleet of autonomous bots could be deployed after a hurricane to clear debris and search for survivors, working around the clock in conditions too dangerous for humans. In construction, robots could handle the most physically demanding and hazardous jobs, dramatically improving worker safety. For you, this could mean more help at home, safer working conditions in many industries, and faster disaster response. But it also ignites one of the oldest and most intense debates about automation: jobs. While some roles will be augmented, others will undoubtedly be replaced. The societal challenge will be immense. How do we retrain and rescue our workforce? How do we ensure that the economic benefits of this robotic revolution are shared broadly? And critically, how do we build in robust safety protocols to ensure these powerful autonomous machines can never cause harm? 8. Post-quantum security. This next breakthrough is one you might not see, but it may be one of the most important for preserving our way of life. Almost everything you do, online banking, messaging, shopping, is protected by a lock, a form of encryption. But a new kind of key is being built: the quantum computer. When they reach maturity, quantum computers will be able to break our current encryption standards with terrifying ease. This is where AI steps in as our digital guardian. The field is called post-quantum cryptography, PQC, and AI is at its heart. Instead of waiting for the attack, AI is being used to design new quantum-resistant encryption algorithms. In 2022, the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, standardized new algorithms, like Crystal's Kyber, designed to be our first line of defense. Cybersecurity firms are already deploying AI and LLMs as sentinels on our networks. They monitor global data traffic in real time, learning the normal patterns of behavior. When they detect an anomaly, a new type of malware, or an unusual data transfer that could signal a hack, they can flag it or shut it down in milliseconds, far faster than any human team could react. Google's Chrome browser already uses a hybrid encryption model that incorporates these new quantum-safe algorithms. Think of it like this: AI is not only helping to design the new, unbreakable locks for the quantum age, but it's also acting as the 24/7 security guard, constantly watching for any sign of a threat. For you, this is about the quiet confidence that your digital life, your bank account, your private messages, your identity will remain secure in the face of this monumental technological shift. But the race is on. Can our AI-driven defenses evolve fast enough to stay ahead of quantum-powered attacks? It's a high-stakes, invisible battle, and the security of our entire digital infrastructure hangs in the balance. 9. AI-driven education. Our education system was largely designed for the industrial age, a one-size-fits-all model where everyone learns the same thing at the same pace. AI is poised to shatter that model and usher in an era of truly personalized learning. What if your child's math homework could adapt in real time to their struggles? If they get a problem wrong, the AI doesn't just say incorrect. It understands why they got it wrong, maybe. They misunderstood a core concept from 2 chapters ago and instantly generates a custom-tailored explanation or a simpler practice problem to bridge that gap. This is already happening. Khan Academy's Khanmigo, built on GPT-4, acts as a Socratic tutor, guiding students to discover answers for themselves rather than just giving them away. The language learning app Duolingo Max uses AI to provide detailed, interactive explanations of your mistakes, like having a personal language coach available 24/7. The potential for equity is enormous. A student in a remote village with no access to expert teachers can receive world-class, personalized tutoring on a simple device. A busy adult trying to switch careers can learn a new skill at their own pace, fitting lessons into their commute or lunch break. UNESCO predicts that by 2030, AI could be a key to closing the global education gap. For you and your family, this means education that is more engaging, more efficient, and more attuned to individual learning styles. But it also prompts critical questions. Will an AI tutor ever be able to provide the same emotional support and inspiration as a great human teacher? How do we ensure that students are still developing crucial social skills and not just learning in isolation with a machine? The future of education is likely a hybrid one, where AI handles the personalized instruction, freeing up human teachers to do what they do best: mentor, inspire, and foster a love of learning. 10. Ambient AI. We've arrived at our final breakthrough, and in many ways, it's the culmination of all the others. It's the one you will feel the most but see the least. This is ambient AI. Ambient AI is intelligence that is so deeply embedded in your environment that it becomes invisible. It doesn't wait for a prompt. It anticipates your needs and acts on your behalf, silently working in the background of your life. It's already here in its infancy. Your smart thermostat learns your schedule and adjusts the temperature before you get home. Your Tesla's full self-driving technology, in beta, navigates complex city streets without your input. Your Amazon Alexa notices you've been buying coffee beans every month and suggests a reorder just before you run out. Now, project this forward to 2030, powered by all the tech we've discussed. You wake up. Your home, powered by a neuromorphic chip, has already adjusted the lights and temperature based on your sleep quality, which was monitored by your wearable. As you walk into the kitchen, your smart display, running a micro LLM, shows you a summary of your day's schedule, which was optimized by your AI agent overnight. On your drive to work, your car handles the traffic, while the in-car AI briefs you on the key points for your first meeting. At the office, an ambient system monitors team workflow and flags a potential bottleneck before it becomes a problem. This is a world of ultimate convenience, a life with the friction sanded away. But it is also the most challenging of all these breakthroughs. How much of your life do you want to automate? Where is the line between helpful and intrusive? An AI that orders your groceries is convenient. An AI that analyzes your conversations to suggest you call a friend you haven't spoken to in a while might feel like an invasion of privacy. This invisible revolution will demand a conscious and continuous negotiation of trust and control. It will make life easier, but it will also challenge us to define what parts of our lives we want to keep sacredly, inconveniently, and beautifully human. So, where does this leave us? By 2030, I will not be something you just use. It will be the invisible architecture of your existence. Your tasks will be managed by agents, your devices will think for themselves, and your creativity will be unleashed by synthetic media. Our greatest challenges in health and science will be tackled by AI partners while robots work beside us, and AI guardians protect our digital world. The lesson in all of this is not to fear this future, but to engage with it. The single most important takeaway is this: view AI as a tool to amplify your humanity, not replace it. Learn to delegate the mundane to your AI agent so you have more time for your family. Use AI-driven education to learn that instrument you've always dreamed of playing. Embrace synthetic media to tell your story in your voice. But never stop questioning. Demand transparency from the companies building these systems. Be fiercely protective of your data and your privacy. Understand the limitations and biases of these tools. The future isn't a runaway train. We are all aboard and we have a hand on the controls. It's up to us to steer it toward a future that is not only more efficient and convenient, but also more equitable, creative, and profoundly human. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 10 breakthroughs excites you the most? And which one gives you the most pause? Where do you personally draw the line between a helpful assistant and an intrusive presence? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start the conversation. Wishing you good health and endless curiosity as we navigate this incredible new world together. And if you enjoyed this deep dive and want to continue exploring the tech that's shaping our future, make sure to hit that subscribe button.